Welcome to the City of Heroes podcast, a resource for the casual Heroes gamer.
Your hosts, Chooch and Viv, are here to explain basic and advanced features of CoH,
as well as give tips and answer your questions about this great MMO. Welcome, heroes, to the City of Heroes podcast. Oh, there goes Viv's screen. I was worried for a second. I am Chooch, and I'm joined, of course, by my lovely wife, Viv.
Hi.
Hello. This is episode 58, and so that's us. Today we're going to be discussing base building, a topic that a lot of people are interested in. They're not just for portals anymore. And we're going to be joined by Dacy, who is an amazing base builder designer and does some really great things in a little bit. First of all, as usual, we've got news.
Hey, all heroes. How's your Saturday going? I'm going to say hello to the chat. I see we got Rich there. How's it going, Rich Corn Doggin? Dollhouse is here. Hello, my lovely doll.
Oh yeah, I have not set up the walk-on such and so like a Vivi does.
Yes, we need to talk about that. We need to make that happen. So, hope you guys. Hey, Greb, how are you? Grutch Monster in the house. Hello. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday. It's Saturday, right? Yeah, it's Saturday.
All day.
Aw, Doll, listening while working. She's just the best, isn't she? Don't we just love Doll?
We do.
So I'm going to get going on the news and patch notes. If Chooch wouldn't mind throwing some shout-outs to our streamer friends that are in the chat.
Indeed.
Hello, friends. So glad to have you join us today. Thank you. So let's see. So first up, we're going to start with the CoHPodcast news. We don't really have news other than, yay, Dacy. But I did want to make a simple plea for reviews, particularly in iTunes. After we stopped podcasting years ago, this podcast, at some point iTunes wiped our history. So Chooch was able to go in and reload everything again. So we have our podcast feed up in iTunes, but we had over 60 reviews. And I can't remember if I've done this before, but if you use iTunes and you get our podcast there, or if you have iTunes and you listen to our podcast, we'd love it if you'd throw us a review. It's kind of like a little check mark by a real human saying,
right?
You know,
this is worth your time.
You like the game? It's not terrible. They give news and stuff. It would really be a balm for my aching soul. We have 6 there now. We've had 6 there for a couple years now. We're so grateful, but meh.
Yeah. And for that matter, we're actually, before we were only on iTunes and we were on, I don't remember, Podcast Pickle back in the day, way back when.
Something obscene sounding, yeah.
Yeah. And now we're on Spotify. They just enabled ratings. So people are now allowed to do stars on podcasts and stuff on Spotify and Stitcher. And so we're on all those services now too. So wherever you happen to listen, if you could give a thumb up or a star or a favorite or a heart.
So appreciated.
Yeah. Thanks.
And let us know where you're doing that and we'll give you a shout out like we used to do in the olden days. Cross promotion, crisscross. I rate in corn dogs, not in stars. This we know, Rich, and we love you for it. So let us know where your corn dog rating site is, and we will go there.
2 sticks up.
Don't. I don't know. Maybe Chooch will go there first and make sure it's actually like what you're saying it is. So let's get started though with the patch notes. February 10th, we had the Spring Fling event become active. In Pocket D, we have the NPCs Ganymede, Scratch, Jessica, Megan, Duncan, and Arbiter Hawk, and they all have the proper contact NPC effects rings. Dram and Chili now also have proper vendor NPC effects rings. Dram and Chili are the ones that you buy special temp things from to do these missions. I do want to add that when we tried to do them last weekend, I had my main trying to get those, and she was unable to get the missions. And I talked with a dev, and it ended up being because I had too many open story arcs. It wasn't you have too many tasks, so you just drop tasks. I did that. I had 0 tasks. I was bouncing between the different alignments, and the contacts were like, "You're too busy. Come back." And so I talked with one of the people at support, and they said that if you look at your contact list, you'll see some will have a little open book with a blue or a green chapter bookmark kind of thing in there. If you have more than 5, essentially, then you have a problem. There's a difference between the blue ones and the green ones, and I won't go into that, but it's just something to keep in mind. If you can't get it to start, take a look at your mission arc, your story arcs, and via contacts, and start clearing them out via Ouroboros, oldest to newest, I would say, so you could get through them quickly. That's what I did anyways. Mm-hmm. So now they'll talk to me, and I have to go do those again. And then for the tasks for the Spring Fling, it's the same as 2012's Arbiter Hawk, Widow in Red. Revamped Virgil Terracos's dialogue tree to better fit his character, as the previous dialogue tree was copied, pasted 1-to-1 from the hero contact. The Obal contact now provides a few vials of mana-infused blood, which are used in the ritual instead of the player actor actually cutting themselves. So I really got to say, I love that change instead of having us do self-harming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here, take a couple vials. It's just that easy. Nobody has to cut themselves. That's a fantastic fix. DJ Zero's involvement in the story arc has been removed as it violated his absolute neutrality rule. Mercedes Sheldon in Pocket D has inherited his role with a rewritten dialogue tree. A few lore inconsistencies, typos, and mistakes were corrected in the arc's text. Yep, that's a repeat for I don't know why. And then we have the weekly strike targets through Monday are the Lady Grey Task Force, which is level range 45 to 50. Megadeth cometh. Oh, by the way, if you're going to run that Lady Grey TF before you do the Hamadon one, mission, make sure you lower that difficulty, right, Chooch?
Right. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Lower that.
Just for that
take
one.
Some EOEs. Grab some what are those called? Essence of Earths from the auction house, or fight some shit before you head in, and you're good. Just a little tip. After last night's pain, the Mega Mech cometh. The Ernesto Hess Task Force levels 25 to 30. Pirates of the Skies, the Silver Mantis Task Force levels 20 to 25. Sorry, Strike Force. And then starting Monday, we'll have the Manticore Task Force level 30 to 35, Admiral Sutter level 20 to 40, and Mortimer Cal level 20 to 40, which highly recommend Mortimer Cal. That one's always a good one to run. So that's pretty much it this week.
Fun. Richard asked, when does the Spring Fling end? And it did not say so in the patch notes. Taxi says March 3rd or something.
I have not. I scoured yesterday and the day before looking for that date, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I don't know. No. I haven't seen any date. Taxis sounds right, because they usually run these for a couple of weeks. I feel like they usually run it into March. So I totally believe Taxi's date.
Thanks for the bits. We got some bits from Kyle and from Doll.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Taxi. Welcome. Doll says, I'm casting you to the facility speakers in Building 3 using Chromecast. Hello. Is it a big facility? Yeah, yes. Thank you so much for the cheers, you guys. Appreciate you so much. So that's it for the patch notes and for the news.
Right on.
I ask you, Chooch, shall we have our guest join us?
Yeah, that brings us to our main topic. Our main topic is base building, and we've got our special guest, Dacy. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad to have you.
I'm very glad to be here, and I need to apologize up front. My voice does not sound like it usually does. It's a little bit raspy, so Sorry about that, but
No
we'll just have to deal
worries.
with it.
Oh no, not a raspy voice.
Oh,
Whatever
no.
will we do? People
Horrible.
hate that.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway.
you sound great.
Well, thanks. So, hi.
Hi.
Nice. Glad to be here.
Oh, Taxi posted on from the Homecoming Discord. Spring Fling will run until maintenance on Tuesday, March 1st. Thank you
so much, Taxi.
Right there with the facts. So, Daisy, you are a base builder and also a player in general. Did you play City of Heroes on live, or how did you first discover the game?
Yes, I did. I actually was there from pretty close to the startup of just after beta.
Nice.
Limited mostly because I didn't have a computer of my own. I had to watch over my husband's shoulder. So, started with a few characters on his account, got addicted, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's how it happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I built bases on live, and it's so much better and easier now. It's just, there's almost no comparison.
Cool. How did you find out about the game being playable again when the resurgence, the homecoming?
I was in. I knew about the whole blow up that happened and the leak of the secret server and all that. So, I didn't get in right away because I wasn't positive that it wasn't going to shut down right away.
Yeah.
So I waited a couple months and then I got in.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of people who are very skeptical.
Yeah.
Or downright scared.
Yeah.
Like, is this even legal? Is this gonna be okay?
Meanwhile, we were like spazzing. Get it. We gotta get in, make those characters. We gotta make our names. We were running around like idiots.
I immediately
Messaging friends.
downloaded the code and set up our own private server, so if it went down, we'd still be able to play.
Oh my, yeah. Not up to doing that, no.
We're ready. We're ready, you guys.
Yeah.
We're
In case
ready.
it goes down.
So, I thought today we'd start with my the spaceship that I made, and this actually was an award winner. But probably the biggest question that I have from people, and then the most popular video of the videos that I make, is how to build above or below the base. It's like lots of people want to know how to do that.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
this base is actually built inside the base and on top of the base and around the base. So
Sure.
I thought it would be a good example, and I did a lot of different techniques in here. So the first thing that I wanted to be sure in the space was to make sure that all the services were really close to the entrance, because 95% of the people in a supergroup just want to come in and do the stuff that a base does.
Yeah.
So I want to make everything close. I do that in my own home base as well. Everything's very tight. Everything's very close in. So you come right into the travel area here, and there's a quartermaster you can buy and sell from. And then all of the destinations are right over here. We have symbols and also words so you know where you're going. Paragon City is basically the tram, except for I put Callisti in with the co-op, I believe, because it's a co-op zone.
Yeah.
And then all the hazard zones just perfectly fit on one teleporter, because there are 10 hazard zones that are blue side. Other dimensions would be like Pretoria, Pocket D, and the Firebase Zulu. And then Rogue, of course, is red side, plus a few hazard zones that are shared by red side, just to make sure they don't have any blank spaces, because your teleporters will tend to drift from one to another if all the spaces aren't filled when they're this close.
Oh, gotcha.
That's something to keep in mind. And in this particular room, I was telling you a little bit earlier, I used the banners not only to mark the teleporters, but also as a floor and the walls. So you can get a colored wall and a colored, like, carpet type floor
Yeah.
if you use
It
the
looks
banners.
so plush. It looks amazing.
Thank you. Out this way.
It's
Go
such
ahead.
a simple detail, but it adds so much texture and depth to things, you know?
You know, your choice of materials can make such a huge difference in your build. I mean, you can just kind of put things together and make it look, well, that kind of looks like what I want. Or you can take the time to go through the editor and really select your materials, because lots of things in the editor have like a back or a side. And when you look at that and kind of separate it out from the rest mentally, you go, oh, well, that looks like this, or that looks like this. And I'll show you some examples of things. Some people call it kit bashing. Some people call it just, I just call it blending things together, where you make something entirely new out of what the editor has. It doesn't look like anything the editor has, but it's made out of parts that are sticking out in various ways. So come on this way to the bridge, please. And in the bridge, we have trainers on either side that double as guards.
Nice.
The only other service I have on the bridge, I have the mission computer up here. That's for your tip missions. And then over here, trying to look technical, is the Ouroboros crystal.
Ooh, nice.
And as far as design, I was requested to make some that was Star Trek. I also threw in a little bit of The Expanse and Battlestar Galactica into the ship design.
Amazing.
So,
and then you've got things like the Richter elements in here mixed in, which gives such a neat, like, again, texture and depth to it.
Well, it's supposed to be an alien ship, and you'll see that when we get to the outside. Here's the navigator's chair, and this would be an example of something I mashed a bunch of things together so that it looks like what I could imagine an editor's chair to look like.
Yeah.
And this would be like your harness or blast off and things like that. Now, just like real windows, when you have the lights on inside, you cannot see outside very well. But these are all glass, and you can see outside, and that's like the space sky out there. And when we're outside, you'll be able to see inside really, really well. But because the lights are on, you can't really see outside very well. Now, from the deck, you can get down to the ship's ready room. And we're not going to do a full tour because we just don't have time. Or anywhere else in the ship from these turbo lifts. But I want to show you the rest of the services because they had some interesting features. This would be, of course, medical. And you have the nurse here. And you also have this, I'm right here.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I thought you saw where I went. And you have the combat logs where you can buy and sell inspirations, and the nurse where you can buy and sell, inspirations and so forth too. And then the res units, and then I made like an MRI unit over here. Again, this is more of the pushing things together to make them look like something else.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fair rendition of a MRI machine. So, and then other than that, we've got kind of the Star Trek feel from the bays over here with the beds and so forth. And again, that's not exactly the way that it's set up in the editor. I had to kind of push things together to make that. Then over here, I've got kind of a map directions. And if you noticed in the transporter bay, I also did this. I did lettering. And people are... The editor does not have small letters. And so everyone's like, how did you do those letters?
How did you do it?
They're actually candles, because the candles at the end of room details are tintable.
Wow.
And also soap. Now the soap, because it has white mixed in with it, it has to be a couple shades darker than the candles. But all these letters are made with soap and candles.
Wow.
Except for the words turbo lifts at the top.
Right.
Those are banners.
Banners.
And the thing about banners is that the design on the banner, which can be a letter or a number, well, no, just letters, actually sticks out just a little bit farther than the flat side of the banner.
Oh.
And so it's sometimes tricky because you got base shift, which is where our lovely programming, the positions in the base editor are actually text fields. And when you position something, you're giving it a numeric value. But a text field only holds, I think it's like 3 decimal points. Okay. And so if your decimal point value is more than the 3 decimal points, it's going to round. And that ends up shifting the position of the item you just placed. So when you're doing little bitty fussy work like the lettering and like the banners, sometimes they'll pop through where you have the banner showing all the way through, or they pop through the other way where you don't have the letter showing at all.
Right.
So, and the bases can be glitchy all by themselves. Over here is the workroom. And if you look at the workroom, they're all labeled. Okay, white would be common. Yellow would be uncommon.
Nice.
And
oh
then
my gosh.
Orange is rare. And if you notice, only the walls facing east or west have lettering. I did have storage here, but I could not get the letters to stop shifting so that you either saw the banner or you didn't see the letter. So, and it's only in this location on the ship. Everywhere else, I could put things on the north wall and it was fine. But in this location, it just went, no, I'm not going to work for you. We're just not doing that. And it is sometimes just frustrating because something might work in one location and might not work in another location. And that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. The base editor is very glitchy. But there are some things you can do to...
I peeked ahead, and this is just so cool. I love this. This is an icon employee, and you've got it looking like an actual dressing.
Yeah, it's just uniform and supply.
Simple, but very cool and effective.
It's very simple, yeah.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, that is great. I want you to ask, because otherwise I'm just going to rattle on. And this would be, I usually make a container for like catalysts and converters and unslotters and things like that. So that's what I mean when I put special up there.
So you'll have the storage device behind it, and with the proper permissions and stuff, clicking on this little handle thing would give you access to it. But that is so cool.
If you looked at it in edit mode, you would see each item has a blue box around it, okay? And these are the tech containers. And the tech containers have one side that's flat. And so you can put it right up next to the wall. And the blue box for the item extends out past the wall. So you can still click on it. But you can't see it. And that's another one where sometimes you'll get shifting where the bars from the... it's got like hurricane fencing on the back of it. Sometimes those bars will show through and you just, push it back in. That happens. But
wow.
Also sync it just a little bit because the bottom of the storage has a tray that will show at the bottom unless you sync it down a little bit. But the arcane's a little harder to hide. Sometimes you have to disguise that instead of hiding it. Because it doesn't have like a completely flat side. And you can't access them from the side. Well, you can access the arcane from one side. It's not the pretty side. It's this old chest thing. And I've done that in some apartments before. Had that sticking out so you could access it. But so this is the workshop, and we have some of the storage for IOs over here standing upright. The nice thing about the IOs and stuff is you can turn them upside down and still access them. So they can look just like a flat table instead of having all of the flasks on them. And I usually stand them upright.
How do you turn something upside down?
There are basic controls that everyone needs to learn if they're going to edit. And I really think everybody can edit. It's just a matter of the difference between a basic base and a great base is basically determination, patience, and perseverance. That's really all it is.
I had none of those. My base is
and that's fine. I think, if you can set yourself up with a basic base and it's really not hard. So the basic controls that you want to use, the first keys you want to use are the F keys, F1, 2, 3, and 5. F1 will change your grid size. Now, a grid is basically just what it sounds like. It's an automatic placement of the item. It goes to a certain position. And so when you're moving an item, you'll see them jump on space 1 pretty far apart. On space 4, they're really far apart. But you can set it down to grid size 1/4, or you can even turn the grid off altogether. and then you don't have any spots. But when you turn the grid off altogether, that's when you get those rounding errors where things will shift a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes you cannot get things close enough in the right position on grid 1/4, so you have to turn the grid off to try and position your items. Especially if you're doing flicker. Sometimes items will flicker if they're like trying to occupy the same space and they both have the same thing on it. Mm-hmm. Well, if they're just occupying the same space, basically, they will flicker. And some clever base builders have actually taken advantage of this. Like in Rat City, you see letters that are flickering, like they're electricity that's going on and off. And that was Gizmouse taking advantage of the fact that things put in the same space will flicker. Very clever. But most base builders don't like flicker and want to get rid of it. So what they'll do is if items are overlapping, which sometimes you can't help, you can tilt one of the items just slightly, like turn the grid off, turn your angle snap, which is the next key, F2, down to 0, no angle snap, and just do the tiniest click you possibly can. And sometimes you have to work out which of the axes you're going to use that on for it to actually work. So that's not obvious, but that will get rid of your flicker. And then F3 is clipping. Now, when I say clipping, that's when I'm pushing things above or below the base, out through a wall, into a floor, into a ceiling, or into each other. That's clipping. Mm-hmm. And if I want to be able to make some of the objects that I've shown you, like these I/O tables that I've angled up and pushed into something else, I have to turn on clipping. I have to enable that. So F3 is the first button I always click when I get into a base because I know I'm going to be clipping stuff. And that's just a toggle on, toggle off. F5 will change the attachment value for the item that you have. So the attachments are the floor, the ceiling, a wall, or surface. And if you attach it to a floor, that's basically the bottom of the base, or on the very top of the base, the top of the ceiling acts like a floor. Or there are several items in the base editor itself that are basically designated as floors. And any one of these things, when you try to put something on it with the floor attachment, it'll automatically attach completely level, completely upright. Okay? Now, if I'm trying to place something, say, on a table, most of the things that go on a table, like books or lamps, attach to the floor. And so you're like, I can't get it to go on the table. Why won't it go on the table? You can do it one of two ways. You can either change the attachment so it's now on the table. And usually you want to turn your grid off, because if you attach it to surface, the table with the grid on, it'll either be above or below most of the time. So turn your grid off, turn your attachment to F5, and then place your item on the table. Now, the other way to do it is you have it on the floor, and you can hold the key, the shift key, and then just use your mouse and raise it up to where you want it. And then if you still need to move it laterally, hold Control and move the item with your mouse, and Control will hold it at the exact same height wherever it goes. So when I'm working, especially if I'm working above base, there are a couple little glitches that can sometimes send you flying across the base, or send the item that you have flying across the base to the nearest attachment that it's looking for, like the floor. So suddenly it's across the base on the floor somewhere, and you have no idea where it went. So I hold Control, because that way, if it's looking for a floor, which is usually what it does, it's got the floor attachment, because most of the items in the editor attach to a floor, and it's looking for the floor. And what it does is it looks at your camera angle versus the intersection of where the floor is versus where your mouse is, and that's where it goes. So if you are looking at the horizon and your mouse is way off in the distance, you are essentially selecting a floor that's way off in the distance. So that's where your object just went. But if you hold on to Control, it's at least at the same height you had it at, so it's easier to find. But if you do find something goes scooting off into nowhere and you don't know where it went, just hit Control Z, which is undo. That works for anything except for a storage item. If you pick up a storage item by mistake and you don't want to move it, hit escape, and that'll drop it like you never picked it up. And then there are 3 keys that you need for all movement for any item in the base, and those are Alt, Control, and Shift. And the combination of those 3 keys will turn your item in any axis. So, like just plain Alt will rotate it around. Like if you have a chair on the floor and you want to make it 45 degrees, you just hold Alt and then you use your mouse to turn the item to where you want it. Now, if you want that chair on its side, for whatever reason, you would probably hold Control-Alt, and then it would flip on its side. And if you want it on its back, then you'd hold Shift-Alt, and then it would rotate that way. And those 3 axes are going to go the same way no matter how, like if your item is upside down or on its side, you have to remember which axis is going to do what. I mean, experimenting is usually the best way to go with that. But that's basically movement and the keys. And once you have those things down, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do within the limits of your imagination and your patience.
We have a comment from Taxis saying base building requires you to be a math expert, and that's not wrong.
I would disagree with that because I am definitely not a math expert. I am good at angles. However, that is one of my strengths. But
Rich has a question. He asks: when is Dacy joining the HC team, the homecoming team, to improve SG base technology?
That would be great. I don't have any kind of a tech background that would let me do anything meaningful. Sometimes I'm asked, like, well, what items? And I gave them a list, but I still haven't heard back. I haven't seen any of the items that I asked for. I mean, people are continually asking for, like, can we have sand, please? Can we have snow? Can we have, more doors, more walls, more floors, some ceilings, something we can tint? There's a lot of different things that we would like to see, customizable NPCs. But we just haven't seen them. So I don't think base editing is maybe the highest priority for the homecoming team. But they try. They try.
Sure.
Mascot 16 says Control plus Alt plus Shift combos to rotate items. Some items, and this was because I had asked you, how do you flip something upside down? Some items can overlap if they have the same pattern repeating on them. And I thanked them for it. And they said, I love Dacy, learned a lot from her videos.
Thank you.
I wanted to point out that, and I don't know if Chooch has the link handy to post in the chat, but you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I've been watching videos over there. And my favorite, because I have like a really short attention span, is you've got these series, some videos called something like You Asked For It.
Yeah, quick tips.
Yeah, how to do this, how to stack things or whatever. And it's like literally like 2 or 3 minutes. And that's just like brilliant. And I just want to make sure everybody knows about that, as Mascot 16 reminds us.
Yeah, I made those because, first of all, some of the videos that I made a long time ago, some of the information is no longer relevant. Like I changed, I fixed this bug, or this no longer works like that, or something like that. And my videos now are higher quality than they were. And plus, people usually have like one specific question. They don't want to watch the whole video to get that one question answered.
Yeah.
So, and anybody, if you have a suggestion for something you'd like to see, like I know one thing I'm going to do next is spiral stairs. Everybody wants to know how to make spiral stairs.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was asking about, well, how do you mess with NPCs after you've placed them? That's just you can't click on them. What do you do? So I did how do you move those pesky NPC short video. So yeah, thanks for the shout out on that. That
absolutely, it's a delight. It's such a wonderful gift to the community that I just want to make sure people know that it's there.
Thanks. Yeah, and I do the base tours too. Which, speaking of tours, we've been in here long enough. Let's go to the final service room. And this is just, and I do each base that I do on commission. I do the storage according to what they want. So this was basically, he wanted 3 inspiration storages. So this was where I decided to put storage and buffs over here in the science lab.
There you are.
Straight across.
Chooch was using some of your tips and playing in base design and demonstrating that. So Chooch, come over this way.
Yep, coming. Yep.
So we've got arcane.
Oh my gosh, this looks fantastic.
And just trying to think of new ways, because I mean that the inspiration holder is just really hard to disguise or hide or change because it's very specific in where you can click it. You can only click it in the area that's like right below the glow ball, the computer screens and up. Anywhere else is like, forget it. And so if you try to bury it, it's like, no, now you can't access your inspirations. Go pick it up. So, I just put them in this to make them look a little more techy. So one of the reasons I wanted to show this ship was because of the different lettering that I did, but also because it is built inside the ship and on top of the ship and around the ship. So let's go to outside the ship and I can kind of show you what I mean.
Awesome.
I'm going back to the front room here, and we're going to go to S, which is for the shuttle bay. That's Samick Point, but I just go by the first letter because...
Those can't be renamed, right? They're hard-coded.
No, they cannot be renamed. We would very much like it to be renamed, and we would very much like more teleport points. So far, no on both of those. I mean, it was the Hebrew alphabet, and there must be more letters in the Hebrew alphabet. I'm just sure of it, but we've only got 2. So, this is the shuttle bay, and this is the steps down to the main floor. This is where I got a little bit of the Battlestar Galactica, the launchers in there. And we've got racks of the longbow flyers, and then an Arachnos flyer here. And these are turntables where you bring in your flyer, and then it would turn it around, and then the cranes would pick it up and put it on the lift. So
nice touches.
I like my stuff to be logical. If we fly out here through the force field.
Oh, naturally, of course. You're just gonna...
You can see the back of the ship.
Oh, snap, you guys.
Okay.
Wow.
I was just looking for the view. Holy crap, you guys. Holy crap. Wow.
So, and this is the, if you look at your map, we're at the very back of the rooms on the map.
Holy.
So this is just on the other side of the room that's inside, which I'll show you in a moment. And I'll, when I get there, I'll tell you the special trick I had to do to get that in place, because items, there's a rule on placing items. You have to have part of the item inside the room vertically, and it only goes out horizontally as far as there's enough of that piece in the room. So like these pieces on the side here, part of them has to be in the room, either above or below or inside the actual base. Okay? So that's the tricky part about building around the base, because what you're looking at right here is the base plot. The base is inside of that. And so, you know, and then you can't actually, because the grid, you can't see the grid, they made it invisible. But you can kind of just underneath the ship and then in front of the ship. And then you can see, I think I'm actually below the grid.
Wow.
There we go. Okay. And you can see this is the Orandarite. And here's the alien lettering and stuff.
I love it. So someone gave you a concept, or you came up with the concept and just...
They gave me the name. They wanted a cruising starship. So I made a cruiser, not a battleship. It's got some battle armaments, but it doesn't... It's more for
you'd want to be able to defend yourself.
Space travel and stuff. Kind of not quite a luxury cruise, but close.
Amazing.
By the way, these letters, they look like they're glowing. And the reason they look like they're glowing is because they are sunken into the surface. A lot of people will leave their letters out, just resting on top of the surface. I don't like that, because when you get from to the side, you can't read it very easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have this on indoor lighting. So that means that light sources that I use will show up. If you put it on outdoor lighting, lights, you can place lights, but you won't see them actually light anything up. So these lights are underneath, and they're aimed at the surfaces of the letters. So they miss the surface. This is a one-sided polygon here, because if you look at the very back of it, if you're looking from the back of it, there's another side, but it's pretty far apart from it. It's a tech balcony. And so this side that I'm on is the side that has the polygons, and from underneath, there's nothing that catches the light, okay? So the ladders, if you angle the lights at them, they will catch the light. So therefore, the lights look like they're glowing. But it's just because they're sunk in and because there are lights aimed at them. So that was kind of a trick I wanted to pass along.
We've got a question I thought I'd ask. Kyle asks, I don't know if it's been asked yet, but what's the most impressive base that you've seen so far?
I'm going to go with Sleigh Bells, which I did a tour of. But every builder who looked at that, and I showed it to quite a few builders because I was so excited. I'm like, they look at my base and they go, oh, this is so cool. And I'm like, oh, if you think that's cool, you got to see this. I take them over to see Sleigh Bells. And it's a base by Easter Bunny. And he just did so many super cool things there. And so many touches. And he also was one of the two designers who just did the recently opened Vault Luxe, which we may be able to see here in a little bit. He's a master of detail and attempting things that nobody else thinks is possible. I mean, he's just really, really good at that. So every base builder that I took there that was one of the top builders looked at it and went, well, I know if Homecoming has another contest, I know where the next contest winner is. I've seen it. And it was just it's a pretty amazing base. I mean, I like this one, and a lot of people like my witch's house.
Oh my gosh, your witch's house. Oh my gosh, yeah. We talked about that on the podcast and in our streams. That was just amazing.
Well, maybe we should pop over and see that. This is the dance floor from the other side, and which we haven't seen, and the lounge, which we could go in and see that real quick because that's fun. I don't want to spend too much. I don't want to spend all the time on the ship, and yet I've spent all the time on the ship.
Well, we can go anywhere you like, and as we said before, we would love to have you back again in the future. Absolutely, because this is a huge subject. It is a huge subject. And we are happy to promote anything that you've got going on or share anything that you feel like sharing.
Okay. Let's really quickly go back over to Everlasting. I had asked if we could tour the Luxe, and let's look at that real quick. And if we can, we'll get in a little of the witch's house. But I don't know if we're going to have time to do that today.
Okay. Sure thing. I'm going to ask another question while folks are moving around. Mascot 16 asks, when building a base, is it better to build in one spot out, build in layers bottom up, or wherever you feel like it?
I think that's a great question. I think it really depends on the builder. People ask me all the time, well, where did you start on that spaceship? Did you have a plan? I had a loose plan. I'm what I would call an organic builder. I knew that because I had done a test ship of my own, and I knew that I wanted to have the shuttle bay and that it needed to be pretty big. I knew I wanted a nightclub on top so you could look out. I knew I needed the bridge on top so you could look out. So that kind of dictated some of my positioning. And then the Arboretum was kind of something I knew the ship needed, and I put it in the middle, doing the shuttle bay and the bridge.
Stunning.
Thank you. And then the rest of the base is inside. There's 3 levels inside that include like a conference room, cafeteria, crew quarters, a gym, captain's quarters, engineering, an escape room, which is really cool. And that was a special request by the base builder. So,
wow.
Now you guys have the code that I gave you for getting into Luxe, right?
Yes.
Was that the last one that is on the list, Chooch?
No.
Oh, I see it. Sorry, my bad. Okay. And that's on Everlasting?
Yeah, that's on Everlasting.
Okay, let me swap over there.
So, yeah, it's a big subject. You can tell from all the videos that I have, because people have, and really I see the same questions being asked over and over and over again. How do you place items? How do you place items on top of other items? How do I build on top of the base? how do I make these teleporters work inside the base? How do I set up teleporters? You know, do I need power and control? You only need power and control, by the way, if you're putting in something medical. Other than that, you don't need power or control.
Yeah, they've made things so easy for us, I swear. It feels like a cheat.
Yeah. And then you'll get the base builders to go, what do you mean easy? This is hard, and it is. I mean, it's both easy and hard. It's so much easier than it was. But
so I mean, back on live, like everybody in the SG basically had to help out, right? You had to go get the travel beacons to be able to have porters. You had to get prestige to unlock items.
And when you had prestige on for the supergroup, you were earning half influence. So it was a real sacrifice for people to run in supergroup mode. And I had completely forgotten about that until I looked it up, not that long ago. And you had specific rooms that you could only, at first, that you could only build. Like, this was a transportation room. This was a teleporter room. This was power and energy. This one was for medical. And so each of these rooms had to be separate if you wanted all the features. And now, really, if you wanted to put together a simple base, you can do it all in one very small room. Okay. And are you Dayglow Nightmare?
There we go.
Yes, sorry. Dayglow Nightmare. Okay. It was easier than transferring.
Yeah, I just switched to Incarnitas.
Oh my gosh.
This is the vault, and that's just looking out at the lobby that you would have come in from. There's a street scene out there. It looks like it's dark right now, so you can't really see it very well. But like little details like this V on the floor for vault. I mean, that is just really cool, and you'll see him repeat it throughout the trim in the base. There's a teleporter over here. It'll take us inside.
Ooh. Literally never would have seen that.
If you're into bases, and I think our RP crowd pretty much knows when they see a glow, they're going to click. In fact, just try hiding your teleporters. There are ways to hide teleporters, but most of the RP crowd will find them. So, there are now a couple ways I can make an entirely silent, entirely invisible teleporter. And it's really hard to find unless you know it's there. So I love this money and the gold.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
That is so cool.
So classy.
Wow. I can't imagine the time involved just to do these few little rooms that we've seen so far.
Well, I mean, I think there are great big blocks of money, so they would have been easier than putting in just the dollar bills.
Oh, for sure. But
bale of dollar bills.
But yeah, still.
he's crazy on the details. So we have all these glowing steps, and see the V.
Yes.
And then this is, herringbone with the glow pattern. And these are tech planters. And people use tech planters a lot because they have these nice glowy bits. They only glow at night. So what Easter Bunny did was we have these placeable skies in the editor. You might not have seen them because unless you're thinking, oh, I want a different sky, you won't go looking for them. And you can set like your default sky in options on the editing bar. So that's for the sky for the entire base. But these placeable skies are small. And there are some that are always night, like nightfall. It's always night. So I believe what he did was he put a nightfall sky up above this. So it's always night right here. So these are always on because these lights only come on at night. So, he's a very clever bunny. So, and then in here, I love this bar.
Ooh,
these are shower floors. Okay, they're straight. However, if you notice, the wall curves.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So just funky stuff like that. And this, neat bar he's got here. Just very classy stuff. My very favorite, I'm going to show you really quickly.
This is so Vegas. I'm not even going to lie. This is like literally like Vegas.
Yep, definitely so. There's another bar that way. I'm going to go this way because my favorite thing is over here.
I want these curtains in my bedroom. Forget my supergroup base. Those are so cute.
Yeah, I think those are possibly bed curtains, or there's a window curtain and there's a bed curtain, and he's possible he used either one. I'm not sure which one he used, but whichever one would have fit. So over here, There's a little Italian restaurant with kind of an outdoor theme. And then there's Astrid's, which is a magical, it's a witch's bakery candy store.
Hello.
So we've got, candy dispensers over here. We got pies in this rack here. Made a lot of use of the alphabet letters to make the different colors and stuff. And BB Badger, Base Building Badger, did a lot of the wall decorations. He's really, really good at wall decorations and scenic views and so forth. So like this lollipop, that would be something, a touch he did. I love this gumball jawbreaker machine here. It's just so cool.
That is crazy.
And then back here, I mean, a lot of people, I think, when the place was open, didn't go back here, and that was a mistake because they missed out. You gotta come. You gotta see back here.
Where the magic.
Sorry, I got totally distracted by all the other things in here. It's like
there's so much to see.
Literally in a candy store.
Yeah, we are literally in a candy store. So first, I like the floor. We don't have a lot of flooring options, and here we have a very nice floor. You notice we got eggs on the counter. And a rolling pin with dough.
Wow.
She's magical, so the pot over here is stirring itself. And then there are all these trays of baked goods and stuff. So, and then here are some batter mixers. And there's a freezer with ice cream and fruit and so forth. Bread's baking in the oven. So just, lots of little detail. Very, very good detail.
Amazing.
The freezer. Walk-in freezer.
So if you missed out on the Luxe had an open house Thursday night, the 17th, and if you missed out on that, well, I'm sure they'll be open again, but...
Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, no. You missed out on the back of the kitchen, because that I think is just really worth watching. And restaurant and everything in here. So I think
I'm going to see if we have any other questions from the chat real quick.
The row of insulation is the lollipop. And I believe the rest of it, the pink is, there's a Supergroup logo that's kind of like magic. And we use that for stains all the time. So he just colored it pink. So the stain on the lollipop is pink. But yeah, you can put up things with banners. You can put up things with, there are these dividers that have like glass walls, and those will do the same thing. Only sometimes you can have like floating, lit up logos or letters. So, anyway, gosh, I think we're about done. We never got to go over to the witch's house, so we'll
I know.
another time.
We had a whole bunch of questions, but it's just like the eye candy of it all.
Right.
Yep.
Let's see. There's some happiness that power and control are no longer needed. Not everybody knew that. There's so much conversation. It's common in 3D rendering apps. Sometimes I find myself trying to do stuff in bases that I do in DAZ. Wishful thinking, I guess. Color changes.
Nice.
How is that glow working? The color change between the herringbone.
That is basically taking advantage of a native feature. A tech piece, if I were in my own base, or if you can get into edit mode, you can go to tech planters. They're in tech, and they have lit up bits that glow, basically. And they cycle through colors. And what he did was he just put the white part, that's the bottom of a bathroom shower floor. And so he just placed it so the bathroom shower floor was there and the lit part was around it. They just happened to line up real well for this part. And then he's got a sky over that so that it's always night, so they're always cycling through the glow. Yeah, it does make an awesome dance floor. And if we want to go upstairs, there's another dance floor upstairs, the VIP section.
I'm going to let Chooch follow you up. Chooch, I'm going to let you know I'm going to switch off my camera and start up the other feed. Dacy, we're going to be transitioning over to our gaming in just a few minutes. And so if I don't mean to be rude, I'm going to keep talking. I'm just going to disappear off the camera stuff. So
no problem.
You guys keep talking.
So, Juge, I don't know if you saw where I went.
I saw the doors. And...
Yeah, just click. Put your hand. Look for your blue hand.
There we go.
And then click.
Got it.
Okay, and this is above the dance floor, and we look down at the DJ booth, which is that giant V.
Cool.
If you look up, there's a chandelier.
Cool.
And then this giant V. I love this giant V. It's so just elegant. The stairway up here, and you got to see this scenery back here. It's so cool.
Oh, wow.
Just sunken ruins, and it's on both sides with the streams of light lighting up some treasure.
Love an aquarium.
Yeah. So it's just, and this is the VIP entrance. They come in this elevator, and then they get to walk down the red carpet.
Nice.
So, I make probably a pretty good use of these gold windows. These are office windows found in windows and doors, and they look gold, so they are wonderful to put up whenever you want to go look. And they act as a window from the other side. They have glass, and you can see through them, just like a window.
Nice.
So, yeah, does anybody have any questions? Because I think they're getting ready to go do something else here. And I feel like I've showed you a lot, but I haven't really talked a lot about how to do things.
Did you have any questions you wanted to grab off of our list of... We had such a long list of questions. I don't think we barely touched them.
No, yeah. No, a lot of things you just kind of covered, in conversation. So, yeah.
Dollhouse is saying we need to have a part 2 next week.
Right? I mean, we would. I mean, I'm not even kidding. We'd love to have you back. We go every other weekend if you'd like to go. If you'd like to come back weekend after next, and if you have anything else you'd like to show us, or another time in the future, no pressure to answer right now.
Well, I have to check my schedule, but yeah, I'd love to come back, and I want to show you a couple of the fun things in Witch's House and a few other places. Easter Bunny has a treehouse place that is just amazing. I wanted to show, but the thing is, like all these tours, all my tours are around 20 minutes. Some are a little bit more. And that's with being able to edit between going from this place to another place. So it's really hard if we're just touring bases to see a lot of consequence in an hour. So, we didn't get to see like levels on the inside of the spaceship or anything like that. I just wanted to basically give the impression of you can build above, you can build below, you can build inside, you can build around. There's a lot that is you can do in base editing, just kind of limited by your own imagination, and the pieces aren't always cooperative, but if you keep at it, usually you can make something work.
Mascot 16 says, just when I think I'm getting good at base building, I get my mind blown.
Well, comparison's the thief of joy. I tell people that all the time. I think just
that's true.
Get
that's
inspired.
So true. Yes.
And we're always learning. I'm learning. I learn things all the time. I didn't come up with half the clever stuff I get credit for. I just remember it. And like Gizmouse, like the slider stuff in my Witch's House base, because there's a lot of falls. The fall thing I came up with, but the sliding, Gizmouse was the first person to find out, you can slide on some items.
Wow.
And then another player came up with, you can slide on this item, which I can hide underwater. So then it became invisible.
Amazing.
So, there's just a lot that we all learn from each other. And I'm just happy as can be to be in such a great community that we all share information and learn from each other and can do such amazing things.
So I guess I have one last question for you. That would be, do you have any pet peeves of players that come to view? Like, I want to make sure that I'm a good guest when I'm visiting in someone else's house. are there any, I mean, I think that when we started, you recommended you want to have a character that can fly because you never know the different things that you might see and where that might land you and stuff. But like, are there any recommendations you'd have for people that are doing base tours?
Well, one thing that I'm not sure about mentioning this, but I know that has occurred for some people who make like apartments and such, is they have people coming in and doing ERP without permission in their base.
Ah, gotcha.
That's rude. That's rude, people. Don't do that. Other than that, and I kind of laugh at this one because it's almost like a game, because people come in and they look for ways to get outside the architecture, behind the scenes.
Right.
And there are very few bases that are absolutely perfect where there's no way you can get behind the scenes. And there are some people who are really good at it. I mean, really good at it. I had probably 5 or 6 different people who are really good at it looking for holes in my witch's house. And this person would find this one and this person would find that one. And I'm sure there's some that I still haven't found. But yeah, people will come in and then they'll get behind and run around back where they shouldn't be. And that is both annoying and humorous, because I know they're going to do it. And they do it. And there's some that are just really, really good at it. So it's kind of like a contest. Can I build a base that even the rats from Rat City cannot find a place to get out? That's a tough one.
Every party has those people that come to just kind of fuck with stuff. So I guess that's not too terribly surprising.
Somebody in chat had asked, what is ERP? And I'm going to guess that's erotic roleplay.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned a bedroom.
Walk into your base and there's somebody getting it on with somebody else in your base. Yeah.
And that's why we were so careful not to give away any of the base codes. Well, I'm not going to say that's the reason, but that's a reason I'm glad we were careful.
Well, my spaceship is open. That's ones, ONES. 5030, and that one you can go and explore to your heart's content. The Luxe that we're in right now is a private base that you have to basically pay membership to come into the base. But I know that At Dusk is always happy to get more members, VIPs.
Right.
And we didn't get to go to any other bases, so we'll have to look and see what the codes are for the next ones, if you can go visit us or not.
Yeah, next time for sure. And one last very important question from Rich. Do you do commissions for bases if people want a custom base built?
I do, but here's the big but. I have a huge list right now, and I'm still trying to work my way out of it. So I haven't been taking commissions for new bases because I have to finish the ones I have. And the videos have, I did upgrade the quality, but they're also taking longer than I thought they would to edit and so forth. And with my voice being the way it is, I haven't even been able to keep up with that the way I wanted to.
Sure.
So I'm kind of behind. So I'm saying right now I'm not taking commissions just because I have to catch up.
Right on.
But yeah, the spaceship was a commission. I'm working on a couple of commissions right now. The witch's house, that was my idea. And that kind of, last year I did, 2 years ago, I did the basic one, and that took me only 3 weeks. And it was like, cool, I just cranked that out, no problem. And it got a great reaction, and then I thought, I'm going to add this, and this, and I ended up tripling the number of pieces. And it took me another 2 months to add the rest in. So altogether, I got about 3 months in on that one. So.
Wow. And you reached the capacity of how many items you can place, right?
I did on that one, and I don't recommend doing that. My spaceship is only about 12,000 items. I like having fewer items because when you have a big base, it's a big chunk of memory processing, and every time you enter the base, every time you access storage or take something out, it rewrites the whole base code. It rewrites the entire base. So the bigger your file, the more chance you have for corruption and memory errors. And in fact, there are some not very well-known bugs. If you do a respec in a base, especially a large base, you can fail your respec, and I don't think this bug has been corrected. There's a chance you can lose all your IOs.
Wow.
So do not do respecs inside of a base. Do not do respecs in a very busy zone. Same problem with memory. It's just a server issue. It's not your
Holy
computer.
cow.
It doesn't matter how big your computer is. It's a server process. So, like, I ended up on the witch's house. I had all these great things. So we do a giveaway every year with the witch's house. And I had everything in storage. I accessed the storage and the base crashed. I kicked about 20 people out, including some of my NPCs that I had set up, had to reposition them. And then I had to figure out, okay, how do I get all these items out of storage without accessing the storage again? Because we had all these people inside. It was at pretty much capacity for the pieces placed. And it was going, no, I can't do this, And so I had to pick a time when, like, nobody was in the base, kind of shut it down for about 10 minutes while I got everything out of storage real quick, and then opened it back up. But that was like Halloween. That was not a good time to find that out. So, yeah. And we also found out the base limit is 200 people because with the dollhouse and the Federation of, and I can't say it, Xanthia.
Xanthia, yeah.
We did a costume contest. I made a special arena just for the costume contest, and we found out the limit for number of people in a base at any one time is 200. We had people who could not get into the base. So that didn't work out as well as we had hoped. So probably won't be doing any more base contests in that, especially not in that particular base, but it was fun.
Very cool. So yeah, we are over time. I'd really, really thank you for coming and showing us this stuff. I think we should definitely do a part 2. I'm all on 100% on board for that. We'll work that out.
All about it.
Can show you some secret teleporters and how to integrate some storage stuff in. I did a little bit of that this time, but I'm a big proponent of you want a base that's usable, but you also want a base that fits your theme. So I like to hide the storage and the usable items and the NPCs even in places so that you don't see them if you don't want to see them.
Yeah.
So
is there anything that you'd like to promote other than your YouTube page?
Nothing I have going on right now. I've got, the thing in Halloween every year, and anybody who wants to have a base in that, because we were doing it shard wide, and I would really prefer if I could get one person on I'm on Everlasting, and we can have other people on Everlasting, because we did this year too. But if we can have other people on other shards, and I reached out and I had people on every shard this year, but I would like them to be doing like the recruiting and the donations and things like that. So I don't have to do it one for all the shards. That would make things a lot easier on me. So if you have a base you want to be part of the Halloween giveaway and have people tromping through your base and give them lots of great stuff for Halloween, let me know.
Right on.
But that's a ways away. So you have time to build it.
Yeah. Lots of time.
And thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been great. So that is going to be it for us for the podcast. I'm going to roll our outro video. As always, we are going to raid into Vivid Muse's channel, where we're going to do some heroing. It's Super Saturday, where we get in there and we run missions. That's right. So we've been doing Praetorian missions with Trauma Train Rich and Greblaja. So if you'd love to, we'd love for you to stick around for that. Once again, thanks to Dacy, and thanks to all of you for coming in. We're definitely going to do a part 2. Yes. And so you can send in more messages. You could, I don't even know, do we have we still have an active Gmail account. You can send questions to cohpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, we do.
cohpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send questions that way, you can join our Discord and you can send us, I'm going to do the Discord. You can send us a private message in there, or in the COH channel where, like, we announced this event. You can do it there, but you can do it as a PM if you're shy and you want us to ask the questions for you. No problem there at all. All right. Oh,
we do have some feedback, and we will be reading that next week.
Yes. So good hunting, heroes. We'll catch you next time. This podcast, its hosts, and websites are not in any way affiliated with NCSoft, Cryptic Studios,
or Homecoming servers.
All views expressed are solely of the hosts and their guests.
This podcast is released under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license, which is explained in detail at CoHPodcast.com.
Good hunting, heroes.